I often get asked many questions about how we shot our documentary about electric vehicles. And one of the questions I get asked most often is how we got true motion blur in our time lapse of the freeway. Now, there's a lot of ways you can record a time lapse. You can do pictures on a photo camera and put those together afterwards. You can just record a long video and speed it up. But we shot this all internally on a cinema camera, and then we did nothing to it. It was just ready to go as soon as we shot it. This was completed through the process of using variable frame rate. What is that? How does it work? In this video, I want to show you how we can make sense of variable frame rate and put it to use on your next project. Variable frame rate is not available on every single camera. It's something you find most often in cinema cameras like what we use in our documentary, but it also is available on consumer cameras like this Panasonic GH4. They come in different formats and different names. This is called variable frame rate on the GH4. It's called Varispeed on the Red. So this is what variable frame rate basically is. You are shooting in a frame rate that is different from what your clip is. So for example, let's say we record at 15 frames per second on the camera, but our project clip is 30 frames per second. That means that we are having a half amount of the frames that we need. So in fact, when you record something, it's going to play back at double the speed. Your camera is recording half as many frames as it needs to in order to satisfy the requirements of your clip. So 2 seconds of real life is actually going to equate to 1 second in the end output of your camera. If we take a quick look at the record settings on the GH4, as you can see, we have our frame rate and then we have our image sensor output. All of these options are both the same, whether we're shooting in 24, 30, or 60, the record and the output are both the same. But if we scroll down to a acceptable option that does say VFR, we can enable variable frame rates. From the variable frame rate menu, we can select our frame rate, and as you can see, it will change as we cycle through. Now at the bottom, it says record frame rate, and that is going to stay constant no matter what you change it to because that is our clip frame rate. That is our project. The camera is set to 29.97 frames per second, and that is not going to change. As we cycle through, you can see our frame rate is going to change, but the record frame rate is not. And as we change those, the slow fast effect number changes. So I'm shooting in 29.97, and I have my frame rate set to 96. So in fact, this is going to be 31% real time. So I record and then I play it back. It's going to play at 1/3 real time. So it's automatically going to be slowed down. There's no need to do anything in post. The same thing can be achieved with time lapse. If we go all the way down to 2 frames per second, as you can see, we are recording at 1500% real time. So if we record something and play it back, it's going to be very, very fast. In fact, this is exactly what we did when we made our documentary. We cranked the camera all the way down to 2 frames per second, shooting in 5K, and it took half an hour, but we got ourselves about a minute's worth of footage. So that is pretty much how it works. There's a couple things you need to keep in mind when you do this. First off, you need to know what your variable frame rate is and what your project frame rate is. Those two things are different. Your camera's actual recording frame rate may be different than your clip's frame rate. So that is pretty much it. I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely get subscribed. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.